Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The devil fruit is something that has always carried a great mystery with it throughout our story of One Piece. In fact, we know nothing about its origin, or how it's able to give people powers, and not even the mystery of the being that maybe exists inside of it. But as we're getting closer to a very important scientist, some of these questions are about to be answered. Now, we might not get all of the answers right away, but we are getting some very important details that'll give us some ideas of what the secrets are about these mysterious fruits. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the origin of devil fruits, who might be able to reveal its origin, and how this character may have discovered the secrets of these mysterious fruits. But before we go walking into that orchard of mystery, if you're new to the channel, or even if you watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into this video and the mysteries of these devil fruits. So my friends, there have been many different ideas and theories and hypotheses about devil fruit in the community for quite a long time. Now, it may turn out that many of them could be correct and some others not just so correct, because of course these theories and ideas and hypotheses are based on the information that we've gotten so far about devil fruits. And when you think about it, we really have very little to know about what devil fruits really are. However, we're going to have some answers very soon, because in an SBS, for those who don't know, an SBS is a section where Oda is able to respond and answer readers' questions and give inside information about what's going on with One Piece, or little clues about where the story is headed. The great part about Oda answering these questions from fans is in one of these questions, a fan asked how much longer we'd have to wait to find out the answer on what devil fruits were. Oda-sensei responds and answers him, saying that a great scientist would appear in the future to explain much more about the devil fruits. Oda emphasized the great scientist bit in quotes, giving a hint of who that person might be. Of course, the scientist that he had to be referring to is none other than Dr. Vegapunk, the greatest scientist in One Piece, a person who is responsible for a lot of deep research and creation of devices that have not only revolutionized the Marines, but also directly involved devil fruits. Thus far, we haven't gotten a glimpse of the real face of Dr. Vegapunk. However, Luffy and the Straw Hats recently managed to get to his island, Egghead Island, and are being welcomed by the robots and cyborgs that are connected to the real Vegapunk, one of which being Punk 2, Lilith, who is together with the Straw Hats that are with the Thousand Sunny. Meanwhile, Luffy, Bonnie, Jinbei, and Chopper are being greeted by Punk 6, Yoma, allowing them to get some food, as well as briefly introducing the place around them. Now, so far as we know, the robotic Vegapunks seem to think that they're on the world government sides. And this may even also be true for the original or Stella Vegapunk. And for this reason, they may be planning a trap for our Straw Hat crew. But what they don't know is that the world government currently is breaking their deal and has ordered 3 members of CP0, along with a Seraphim Kuma, to be sent to the island of Vegapunk to take his and all of his robots' lives. Now, we don't know the reason for this betrayal, but it's most likely due to the fact that the world government wants to take Vegapunk's life because of all the things he knows about the world government, devil fruits, and all of the different weapons that he has in his lab. So because of the potential threat that Vegapunk poses back to the world government, they may want him gone for good, which will give him an opportunity and may just force him to ally himself with the Straw Hats. And once this alliance is formed, he will then be able to give and reveal the origin of devil fruit. As we've learned, Vegapunk knows a lot about the lineage factor because he's researched it for many years, which means he knows the concept of how devil fruits work and could even explain the reasons why a person gets powers after eating a fruit. He may even be able to answer the question why one loses their life when they eat more than one devil fruit. This being a question that has long existed within the world and fandom of One Piece. The strange thing about this 2 devil fruit thing is that we don't know if it's really a myth or not, because what we've heard is that there is a quote-unquote devil or spirit that resides inside the fruit, and when one eats a second devil fruit, the 2 devils or spirits come into conflict. But yet, we also don't know why Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, is able to wield 2 separate devil fruits. So this might be something that Dr. Vegapunk can also clear up, is why Teach is able to possess 2 devil fruits, explaining the reasons why the 2 beings that dwell in the fruit haven't taken his life yet, because it all comes back to the lineage factor. So far, we've only had the basics of the lineage factor reveal, which is a really simplistically told explanation that would really only briefly satisfy our curiosity about the mystery of the devil fruit and about the bodily changes that they bestow. We've heard that every living being has a bloodline or lineage factor that links everyone in some way, and yet that still hasn't been explained. And when the lineage factor is altered, it's possible for an ordinary human being to then get great powers. We've also seen that if one is altered before birth, it's possible to make these babies incredibly stronger, making them surpass ordinary humans, just as we saw what happened with the Vinsmoke family's quadruplets. Each of the four brothers had undergone a change in their lineage factor, becoming much more powerful physically and physically resilient, in addition to the other various bodily modifications that they got because of the change in this lineage factor. So just as the lineage factor can be altered through science, devil fruits also seem to be able to alter this lineage factor, at least in some way, giving their bearers incredible powers that can hardly ever be replicated. I mean, even great scientists haven't been able to create the perfect artificial devil fruit yet. Through Vegapunk, we'll get to learn much more about what the lineage factor is and get a full explanation, because Caesar, when we met him, didn't exactly know how to explain it. And besides that, Vegapunk is one of the main scientists working with this lineage factor. So he, if anyone in the world is going to know, he has to know. So Vegapunk is going to be able to tell us exactly what it is, how it modifies living beings, whether it can be replicated synthetically, and also how every living being is connected through this lineage factor, much like DNA in our own world. The other reason why Caesar wasn't really able to explain it is that although he is considerably intelligent, most of his research was a continuation of Vegapunk's research. So he may not have had that initial prior knowledge that really would have given him depth and therefore success with his experiments. Aside from Vegapunk, the only other person who could give us any greater depth of knowledge would be Vinsmoke Judge, because it was these two great scientists that were really knowledgeable in the world of genetic alteration, because they were the ones that managed to discover the lineage factor in the first place. Now, it's not exactly known how they were able to discover this factor, nor even how much they may have discovered initially about the concept, but any knowledge that either of them would drop about this concept is more than enough to give the Straw Hats, and us really, a detailed and understandable explanation, because this is something that hasn't been addressed in One Piece for a very long time. In fact, if you think about it, the last time we got any information about this type of subject is all the way back to the Punk Hazard arc. And since then, we haven't gotten any further information about the origin of devil fruits. It was only during the Wano arc that Kaido gives his opinion on how the awakening of a fruit might work. However, as we just said, this is just his opinion, so it's possible that Vegapunk may know the real reason why a user may be able to awaken the power of their fruit, thus unlocking its full potential. But just like I said, Judge could also be a really good resource and could explain the devil fruit and the lineage factor, because he did help Vegapunk in all of this initial research, and also with everything he's done for Germa 66, we can see that he has had some great successes in his own research and experiments. However, this possibility is pretty remote, because the Straw Hats already ran into them during the Whole Cake Island arc, and they even teamed up a little bit to slow down Big Mom's pirates in order to escape. But at this point, we at least haven't seen any further connection. We just know that Caesar has been kidnapped by Ichi, Niji, and Yonji, don't even have a resolution to what's been happening since. So if Judge was going to be the scientist to reveal this, he would have already done so. So we'd have to really consider that Vegapunk is now our only option. But all that aside, we also have to consider the idea that Judge specialized in changing the genetics through the lineage factor, so that his sons and daughter were born more powerful, as well as becoming great soldiers at a very young age. And this is something he actually achieved. Plus, remember the whole reason why Big Mom wanted an alliance with Germa 66. It was because of these engineered soldiers that Judge has been very successful at creating in his own right. But Vegapunk, at least early on, may not have had the same success as Judge. I mean, we do know that Vegapunk had a bunch of different setbacks, and even in the little bits we've seen in our current Egghead Island arc, there's been lots of talk about funding. So this might have been the reason why he wasn't able to create the perfect artificial devil fruit. And of course, this brings us to that artificial devil fruit, the dragon fruit that Momonosuke ate. And it was considered a failed artificial devil fruit because that was what made Vegapunk abandon his project. However, he may not have given up on replicating or at least increasing the power of a devil fruit. Plus, one of the questions that's floated out in the community for a long time is Vegapunk that type of scientist, that perfectionist, that would consider the simple color of the dragon to be the failure? Or, one other thought, what if Vegapunk realized the danger of his research and he decided to give it up so it wouldn't be taken as far as he knew it could be? But getting back to the research we know that Vegapunk has accomplished, we know that Vegapunk has studied the Pika Pika no Mi and learned how to increase one of its abilities in a pacifista unit, and we've also seen this reproduced in Seraphim. So Vegapunk is still making strides in the research of devil fruits. We've also recently learned that Vegapunk has focused on not only just the pacifistas and the Seraphim, but also his 6 robot selves, because at least in some part, it seems like they are either a piece of him or strongly have a resemblance in the way that he thinks. This division of labor allows Vegapunk to perform 7 different experiments at a time. So after one of his robots finishes their work, the original Vegapunk would only need to see how the robot managed to complete the survey or the task they needed, and just to do the overall check to make sure it's working as the way he wanted it to work. So like I said a few moments ago, the research that he may have given up on could be still getting developed by his other robots, while the original Vegapunk is working on his main research that is still yet unknown. So in conclusion, it's gonna be Vegapunk that's gonna explain to the Straw Hats how these fruits are able to give powers to someone and more fully explain what the bloodline or lineage factor is, allowing us, the reader, to better understand devil fruits and even allowing the Straw Hats to improve their abilities. Because since Vegapunk works with robotics and genetic modification, there's no telling what this revelation may do for people like Luffy in understanding his fruit, or even Frankie and Sanji, who could get major upgrades through Vegapunk's research, allowing them to become much stronger for the future events to come. But with all that covered, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it. What do you think this lineage factor is? Do you think it's just a kind of substitute for DNA like in our own biology? Or do you think it's something special? Next, what do you think about this idea of a devil or a spirit inhabiting a devil fruit? Do you think it's something real? Or do you think maybe it was just some kind of fake information to keep someone from getting too powerful with too many devil fruits? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I really hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.